Hello, it's Rachel, and I've not uploaded a video for, oh gosh, about 4 years now. And there's probably a lot of you just as surprised as I am that I'm putting a video out today. Why have I not been around? Well, no particular reason really. I guess I was getting a little burnt out with editing videos. And then my computer died, which had my editing software on and all my video files that I had ready to go. And so I guess that was the perfect reason to take a break. Yeah, it was a long break, but I'm hoping to start uploading again, maybe not as often as I was, because I don't want to get burnt out again, and it does take a long time to edit, and obviously answering all the comments as well, that was taking maybe an hour and a half a day, which I'd usually try and do before work, so it was getting a little bit too much. And don't get me wrong, I really appreciate all the comments, and I must say thank you to everybody who's reached out and messaged me and asked, you know, where I am and how I am, things like that. And I must apologise for not answering all of those comments. Yeah, that's all I can do. I can apologise for that. They are gratefully received and appreciated, and I must get better at answering any comments going forward. However, I decided, you know, new year, new start, I'll try and upload things again. It's a bit of a show and tell video because I still don't have software. I'm recording on my iPad at the minute, which I never have done before. I'm hoping that I can download an app to enable me to video some makes, and yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to get yet. If anybody's got any recommendations, I need it to be able to do time-lapse and the usual things. Voiceovers, audio ducking is an essential really, unless I change the style of my videos, which I might do that too. We'll see. Anyway, I'm just going to share some of my cards. I tend to keep all my Christmas cards and display them in my own home. I don't have that many people to send cards to, but I do enjoy making them, so I've got quite a lot. So this first one is quite a clean and simple card. It's just got some die cuts in glitter. This Holly is Spellbinders. This little bauble is by a company called Gummipan, who are a Swedish company. They ship worldwide, and they have some really pretty dies. I've invested in quite a lot of those this year. I also invested in a Spellbinders glimmer machine. I know these things can be finicky, but I'm actually really pleased with it. So that's the first one. This one was for a card making challenge, to make a double fold Z card. I think that's what it's called, because of the shape, obviously. And I used distress inks in the background. I can't quite remember the colours. I know there was Tumbled Glass and Salty Ocean, and the edge one is either Prize Ribbon or the other one that's a similar darker blue. I can't remember, but if anybody especially wants to know that blend, I'm sure I can look it up. I'll have written it down. And then the train and the little carts and presents are all on a Spellbinders die, and the stars are a Marianne Designs die. It's all different stars. It just cuts a bunch of them in one go, so it's quite handy. Takes a little bit to put together, but I enjoy putting these little die cut shapes together. So that's that one. This one is another one with Spellbinders dies and a Sizzix embossing folder. Really pretty embossing folder. I think this is one of my favourites. I bought a few this year because I haven't bought any new embossing folders for years, but I like that. And yeah, the skates and the sled are one die, and then I think the foliage and poinsettias are another, but the foliage might come with that. I know you do get some flowers and things, but the poinsettias were definitely a different set. And the snowflakes are a very old Cheery die that I have that doesn't cut very well, but I do like it's got these tiny little snowflakes. So that's that one. This one is a Marianne Designs penguin that's been modified slightly. So in the set you get a big penguin and a little baby one, and the baby one doesn't have a white stomach, so I used an egg dye from Gummiapan to give him a white stomach, and then the scarf is pinched from a Spellbinders snowman set, one of the, I think it's called Dancing Snowman. It was one of the new releases this year. Snowflakes are Spellbinders, and I think the sentiment is as well. There's just there's some dry embossing in the background, just some little snowflakes, and that's him. This one here is a Tim Holtz snowflake cut in white and silver, a small rhinestone in the middle, and then some around the outside as well. I'm not sure they're picking up. And then just an embossed background and a glimmered sentiment. So that's that one. Then this is a Spellbinders one. I really like this deer actually, and I think it was new release this year. I can see that you could easily adapt this for spring cards by, you know, just changing it to spring colours. It doesn't have to be a Christmas deer. The background is Distress Oxide in tumbled glass that I've just sponged on, some stars from Tim Holtz. The sentiment is Spellbinders, and then obviously the deer, which has been sponged with Distress Oxide inks to colour it. And then there is some little rhinestones on there as well. That's that one. This one uses Gummiapan dyes, so the trees and the melted snowman are Gummiapan dyes. This was for a card challenge, so it was a monochromatic theme. So I just chose like a blue colour for that. Embossed background, and there is some shimmer on that background to give it a little bit of gold, and foiled sentiment, and they're the little Cheery snowflakes again. See, they are handy because they're so tiny, well those ones are, but the die is a pain to cut for me. This one is all Spellbinders, I think. Yeah, the whole thing is Spellbinders. So the background is, I think it's called embossed. I'm sure it's got the word holly in it somewhere, because there is holly. I've covered most of it up, but there's swirls, holly and berries on it. Then this is Spellbinders. I can't remember which set this is from. It might be the one with the Christmas doorway, or the doorway that, it's like a generic doorway and then you buy add-ons to adapt it for Christmas and other times of year. Poinsettia is definitely Spellbinders, as are these little tiny flowers and the foliage. So that's that one. Then there's this one. This is my other most favourite Spellbinders folder, embossing folder this year. Again, I don't know what it's called, but it's Winter Trees. It's really pretty. One of the 3D ones. And then these are Tim Holtz trees from the set that has the snow globe in, and I just coloured them with Distress Oxide inks, and then there's just some little gold die cut circles and foiled sentiment. This one is using mostly Gummiapan dies, well, the tree and the deer and the torn notepad and the border as well. And that is Tim Holtz cardstock, the metallic cardstock. And the piece, I think, is Spellbinders. And I have this one with a little Christmas gnome on. Again, Gummiapan die, and so is this little notepad. It's a different one. You can't buy this die, it's from the advent calendar which I invested in this year. The only advent calendar I've purchased of, well, I think it's the only one I've ever purchased, to be honest. But yeah, it was really worth getting. The background, I think, is Concord and 9th. Snowflake background, don't quote me on that. And foiled sentiment. This one has a snowy embossed background. I don't think this particular one is available anymore. I think it was by Sheena Douglas, but there's plenty of them around. The little house and trees are a really old memory box die. It was cut twice, so there's gold behind it, and then some Art Institute glitter on top. And Holly's Spellbinders. Star is Marianne Designs. This one is a Spellbinders background for the embossing folder. That was a new one this year. It's on ivory cardstock, this one. Then the stars are Tim Holtz. The Santa sack and the presents are Gummiapan, and they've been coloured with Distress Oxide inks. And the Joy is a super old quick cuts die, which I still use them occasionally. The size just fitted this card well. This one, I can't remember. I can't remember who the things are by on this one, but there's if anybody's really interested, you know, I can find out. There's a little Christmas pudding die that I coloured this part with Distress Oxide, added some glossy accents, glittered the top, and more glossy accents on the berries. And then there's a cover plate die in the background. I think it might be Pink Fresh Studio, maybe. I have a feeling it's called Dazzling Diamonds, but I could be really wrong on that. And Spellbinders Glimmer Sentiment. Then this is a cheap die I got off eBay, no, off Amazon. It's actually, it cuts out the outline and the inner part, so you could take the outline off completely or put a different fill and outline if you wanted to. I just made a page of Distress green inks, added some water, and yeah, made a bit of a distressed background, and then I cut them out, added some little red rhinestones, and the background is just some tumbled glass and splattered paint. And then this is a stamped sentiment. Again, I don't know who that's by, possibly My Favourite Things, and it's been white embossed. This one uses Gummiapan dies for the ice skates. I think the stars are the Marianne Designs. The stamp, no idea. I can't remember who makes the stamp. And the background here is Distressing, I think Speckled Egg and Pumice Stone. I think Speckled Egg and Pumice Stone, and then there's a little bit of gold shimmer on the background, a little bit of stamping. The stamp's Prima, and the ice skates were watercoloured. I think with Zig, yeah, definitely with Zig brush markers. That's one of my favourites. Then I have quite a, I guess, contemporary, modern type of one. Not traditional colours, but I do like how it turned out. So again, this is a really old die. I think it's Memory Box. It's either Memory Box or My Favourite Things, one of those two. That is Sizzix cardstock in the background, which is textured, just some white and gold die cuts. Gold around the tree, that is the Tim Holtz metallic, and a little sentiment. This one is the same snowy embossed background that was on one of the other cards, and the die on here, the mistletoe, is from Gummy Pan from their advent calendar. So the advent calendar ones, unfortunately, you can't buy. They're limited to whoever buys the advent calendar. And I just put some liquid pearls on to make it look like mistletoe. The bow came with it, the little banner came with it, so I foiled that, the sentiment. Again, this is Gummy Pan. Some from the advent calendar, some not. So the tree stem is from the advent calendar. The border frame, it's not really a frame, it's got a solid centre, but you know what I mean. That was from the advent calendar, but the little bucket and the presents you can buy, and they are watercoloured with zig markers and then Cosmic Shimmer watercolours for the gold. This one here, this is a Marianne Designs jumper. It's not a Christmas jumper die set, it's a men's set that's got like a jumper, and I think it has like a waistcoat and jacket type thing as well. I used that with an embossing folder to make it look like it was knitted. A little sentiment, and the reindeer is from the Tim Holtz Snow Globe set. It was out a few years ago. You can still get it, I think. This one here, another Gummy Pan die from the advent calendar on a snowy kind of hill that's embossed. Some little stars from Marianne, and that's a Gummy Pan die. You can buy that one, but the reindeer is the advent calendar, so limited. This is a Spellbinders cardinal, quite cute. I've inlaid some gold pieces into there and some gold stars and the foiled sentiment around it. Trying to think who makes this. I think this is Concord and 9th. I might need to check that. The houses and trees, I think Concord and 9th, and they come with the little snow bits as well. There's a bit of dimension to it there and there, only slightly. It's not showing up too well. Craft card and blue cardstock. The embossing folder, the kind of weathered bricks, is by, it's a UK company. The name escapes me. I think it's got the word tattered in it. I can't remember. But anyway, if anybody wants to know, I can look that up. The little snowflakes are from the Tim Holtz metallic paper and foiled sentiment. Getting to the end now. This is another one that I don't actually remember who makes the die. But this is like a Nordic, I think it might be called Nordic something, the die, I'm not sure, but it's two pieces. So the light blue cardstock is cut from one piece, the blue is cut from another, and then there's the white background. It also cuts out a frame, but it makes your card bigger than 5x7, so envelopes might be a problem. The presents are Gummy Pan and Spellbinders sentiment. Another little gnome. This one is just a unbranded one from eBay, as is the sentiment. Not eBay, Amazon. And then this frame, the scallop frame and the note page are Gummy Pan, and I did emboss that with snowflakes. You can't see very well, but that's that one. Little snowman cards. So this is made using Gummy Pan dies again. The snowman, little tiny snowman you can buy, just to give you a sense of scale. So this is a 4x4 card, so that is really quite tiny. and that's why I like their dies so much. Spellbinder's Sentiment, and the tree and circle are from the Advent calendar, so that's one die, and I just watercoloured and then added some glitter over the top. This one is Elizabeth Craft Designs. That's who the Santa's from. So he takes a little while to make because you've got all his cuffs and boots and belt and buckle and glasses and nose and mouth and everything. But if you like putting dies together, then you'd find this fun. Most of it's just cut out of regular cardstock, but I did add some hickory smoke distress oxide to his beard. His nose and mouth are coloured with tattered rose. His sack is coloured with, I don't know, a range of different brown inks, all oxides. Then the Naughty and Nice and the little tick there is from Spellbinders. The presents are Gummiapan. And then there's, I don't think I've shown this embossing folder. I think it's Crafter's Companion. I got it second hand on eBay anyway. But it's a nice folder. And this one is a Gummiapan calendar die, which is the gate, which could not have been more perfect for me because I've been looking for a little gate. And the wreath you can buy all year round. Obviously the gate is the calendar, so it's limited. And the little bow comes with the wreath. It's actually longer than this, I cut it down. So yeah, and Sentiment. Last ones now. This is my favourite things for the candles. These were actually plant pots from Marianne Designs, I think. I don't know where the circle's from, any random die. And I think the foliage is Tim Holtz. And there's some glimmer on the background, a little bit of stamping, and I think I probably used distress inks to colour that with. So there's that one, and the very last one is this one here, Spellbinders. Is it called Stitched Alphabet? Because you can stitch in it, and I don't know whether you can see the stitching because of all the bling that I've put over the top of it, but I have stitched through these with some gold metallic threads. And then embossing folder is unbranded, the holly is Gummiapan, and I think the rest of the foliage is Spellbinders. And that's it, that's all of them. So I hope you enjoyed seeing those. I know Christmas is over, you might be a little bit sick of it, but that is what I've been creating, so that is what I've got to show. I do have a few more bits to show, but this video is going to get super long, so I will put those into a separate video. And let's see what else. There was things I wanted to say that I shouldn't forget. Oh yeah, so you might not be aware, but I do have, well, I've got 2 other YouTube channels. I'm going to start linking them in the video description. One of them is inactive, there's nothing on it right now, and I should imagine the majority of people wouldn't be interested because it's a vegan food channel. Yeah, at the minute the videos on there are private, but I'm going to start making those public at some point when I think I've got time to commit to it, which isn't right now. The other channel is my cross stitch channel, because that's one of the other things that was taking my time up. I did cross stitch when I was a child, I'm sure a lot of people did, and then left it for years, and then went back to it maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. So at the time where I was getting a bit burnt out with this channel, I started my other channel. It's quite nice to not have very many subscribers and not much to do sometimes. Not that I don't appreciate you all, but if you want to hop over there, if you have an interest in cross stitch, you'd be more than welcome. Uploads are few and far between because cross stitch takes such a long time, but I do enjoy sharing my projects, so if you want to have a look at those you can. I've added I'm going to add the buy me a coffee link to my videos because that seems to be the in thing to do, so I've set that up. I have no idea how it works, but there you go. I've got Instagram, so I've got Artful Evidence Instagram, which I've neglected like everything else to do with this channel, but I hope to start uploading on there. I've also got my cross stitch Instagram, which I will link, and I have a card making Instagram, so all these cards are on my card making Instagram, which I haven't really shared on social media or anywhere, but I will link that too. I'm not sure there's anything else. Yeah, I think that's it for now. So if you've stayed subscribed, thank you for doing so and for waiting patiently in the wings, waiting for me to upload something. It would really help my channel, I guess, if you liked and shared the video, since my channel's not really going to be in circulation anymore after 4 years. So it would be nice to reach some fresh people. If that's something you can do, it takes a second to hit that like button. I think that's everything for now. So I will get this uploaded, and I will record a part 2, I guess, just to share some other things. They're mostly things that I've been making for my Etsy shop. Some polymer clay things I will share. Maybe that might be it actually. But anyway, I will do that and have a part 2, so there'll be 2 videos. Alright, thanks for watching everyone, and Happy New Year. Bye for now.